Kogi State-born Omehi Salihu Yahaya had a career that spanned through teaching and education management. This teacher ensured that children were brought up in self-respect while exuding a strong leaning towards a life of achievement. His tenure in education management involved many assignments that brought out the man of integrity in him. He recalls one such instance.
In the course of my career, through ANCOPS, I was sent as a member of the Exam Ethics Marshals International, a body that is an NGO that seeks to fight exam malpractice and other forms of malpractice in the education sector. And since then, I'm actually still there. I rose to the point from being a member. I'm now what we call a master marshal. I'm actually up to now working with them as a consultant. So there we deal with issues of integrity in exams, issues with integrity in education, and generally even society and so on. So we have a lot of membership and we train people on how to manage their life and how to allow systems to run them smoothly and properly.
Since retiring, Malam Yahaya has rendered a lot of advisory work to private schools and NGOs. His is a life that has so far revered God's unique place in the lives of those who trust in Him. But how did it all begin? Who, more than anyone else, sowed the seed of the Islamic faith in the early life of Omehi?
My grandfather was the late Ohimegia Igu of Kutonkarfe. My mom, late Hajia Amina Tuje, who was his wife, lived in the compound with him. And you know how these royal families are. I was actually living with my grandmother in my grandfather's palace at that time. And my grandmother was quite Islamic, she was quite learned. It was she that actually began to introduce us to the rudiments of Islamic worship. And I remember, if I can remember clearly, when I was about 7, 8, I had to move back to my father's house, and there he took it on. And he actually connected me to a Malam who started teaching me some basics of the Quran before I now went to primary school and did much of the other training. So the person I can recall really nudged me on in the Islamic way was my grandmom, who I lived with at a very early age.
Malam Omehi brings exactitude into the religious content he received as a child.
Basically, the upbringing was there and the religious component was there. I mean, and the early religious teaching we got was when they taught you a chapter, you are told the meaning of that chapter, you are told the context in which that chapter, and somehow you are told how your life revolves around that, or that chapter revolves around your life. So, I mean, basically, you didn't have any chance to misbehave in the house of the paramount ruler of that land there, who is a strict Islamic teacher and who is there. And when the matter becomes, when they are handling matters, you are there to see. And the justice was there, the fairness was there, and I think that also began to inspire in us the need to do the right things and to follow order and to follow instructions, and it guided us up to where we are now.
So, Malam Omehi admits that he was tutored into correct behavior. That has helped him become the man of integrity he is today. And what does this mean to him?
For me, integrity means, one, doing the right things and avoiding the wrong things. And doing here, not just doing and encouraging the right things and avoiding and discouraging the wrong things. And again, also integrity means that whatever you do or you say must be for the general good. It's part of the circumstance. You subsume your passing and allow what is good for everybody to take reason over what you do. Integrity also means respecting the views, the emotions, the interests of other people that you relate or interact with, including even the management of those people's time. I mentioned the issue about time earlier on. When you have an appointment with somebody and you say it is 10 o'clock and you go there at 11 o'clock, there's a question mark on your integrity. But if you go there at 5 minutes to 30 minutes to the time, or you meet time, for me, it defines you there. Secondly, you must also, integrity means that when you act in a manner we're all human beings from time to time, that is off what is supposed to be, you should be able to own up. Yes, I did this thing, and you also be ready to apologize for what you do and let things move forward. You cannot be wrong and begin to insist that you are right and expect that people do that. And another aspect of integrity that I want to relate with very well is that whatever you say is something that anybody hearing you should take to the banks.
Yes, anyone listening to that man or woman of integrity should not be in doubt in terms of the veracity of what has been pledged or uttered. He brings further explanation into how integrity actually goes before the man or woman who demonstrates it.
And it also means that when people are coming to you, they should have an idea of what they are going to expect based on what they come to you with. If you are somebody whose yes is yes, they should know this man is going to say no to this. No, and when you come, you provide it. So integrity really is the totality of your self-discipline in terms of how you manage yourself and how especially you manage others. And one aspect of integrity that I think is critical for me that I want people to know is that you should learn to live what does not concern you. To integrity is don't interfere with what you are not invited into. Even if you are invited into, go there and do what you think is right and forget about the consequences of that to you.
Malam Omehi has found his life of integrity tested by many situations, which he proudly says he fought off without second thoughts. His mind goes back to recall a couple of them.
Let me mention an instance. I was supposed to appoint people as principals or vice principals. I had the right to recommend who should come in there. And of course, there are people that I work with, there are people that I know. And the temptation was there to pick somebody who you like just to give, but no. What I did was set up the criteria, set up the issues, and if you didn't fit in, you didn't fit in. I have an uncle who I helped to get the job here. And he was a vice principal, and I never met him principal before he retired. I could have simply pushed his name there, but I know it was the right thing to do. And thank God he understood. He didn't really, but the best I could do for him was transfer him to a place nearer his residence. And another instance I will also say is while I was serving, I had a colleague who was trying to drag me into something that wasn't right. It was very tempting, but at a point I said, no, sorry. Our friendship, we have to decide whether our friendship will continue on this path or will not continue. We can't do that. And I succeeded in pulling myself out of it.
Some persons whose path and that of Malam Omehi have crossed readily speak about a man who rises above self to attract admiration, not by deliberate intent though, from those he interacts with.
Malam Salihu Omehi, Yahaya, I've known him too as my neighbor in Kuje, where he was working, and I was also, we were all residing. He was the chairman of the mosque committee, and during his own tenure, he performed excellently. He's a man you can always trust. I think when he was the director, either acting director or director at the school services, and also at the quality assurance department of the FCT, I think he performed excellently. So in a nutshell, he's a man who has held positions, a man who has exhibited a lot of integrity. When we were all in school, he was somebody who was entrusted with responsibilities, and he has performed adequately.
We couldn't leave Malam Omehi without a question about what has gone wrong with the young generation. He had something akin to a whiplash for some parents.
What I normally tell people when they start condemning this generation is that I believe that this generation are actually victims of parental, let me use the word, permit me if I'm allowed, parental recklessness. Because they grew up in a situation where we parents are not giving them the kind of upbringing that our parents gave us. We feel we want to give them better life, but are giving them the wrong life. Yes, love is good. I enjoyed love. I mean, if it is parental attention, I got it. But that didn't stop my parents from telling me I'm wrong or I am right. It didn't stop it. And it didn't affect me. I didn't get emotional when they tell me you are wrong or otherwise. So, but these days, we parents, in trying to impress our children, we are allowed them to go away with the wrong things, and yet we expect them to behave in the right ways. It can't work.
During his teaching and education management days, Malam Omehi was practically accosted by some subordinates who felt he was not using his position to get rich. He always waved them away. He had been trained by faith to hang on to probity. He was not going to disappoint those who had raised him in the ways of God. It's an attitude of faith which his retirement has not played down in any way.